So one of these days I'm going to learn how to edit down in front of these videos when I'm sitting here just waiting for things to get started. I was so tempted this morning just to kind of grab my, hey Nikki Wonderful. First of all, I hope that I can be heard. Can you hear me, Nikki? Hey, Mad Blender. I'm not 100% convinced that I'm being heard this morning, so check. No, there's that. But no one said, I can't hear you. I'm good. I'm very good today. I'm just hoping that people can hear me this morning. Hey, Shelly. Okay. Whew. Good morning. So, and I'm also not sure, I don't think there's very much of a delay with YouNow as far as you guys hearing what I say. That's because we do the, right, because when we have a guest here, we do the chat back and forth, so I don't think there's a delay. Like with YouTube, I think there's like almost, a 45-second delay. I think there's almost a minute delay. So it's really hard to have any kind of back and forth. So I hope everyone can hear me. And as usual, I'm going to tell you guys what I'm having. So this is, you guys know that when Kearney was here back in, my goodness, July? August? July? No, August. It must have been August because it was after all of the students had left. When Kearney was here, he helped me set up this, garden, vegetable garden. And thanks for inviting 147 fans to the broadcast, Matt Blender. And so I started growing, and I've had this garden growing in my attic, which I have to. I'm gonna get up there. I'm gonna get up there with my lights and. You didn't know you had that many. You got them. You got them. Yes. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know. I still haven't quite figured out YouNow, so I really don't know how to navigate it. Hey, controvertible snitch. So we're just getting started today, and my hope is, what I was hoping that we were going to be doing during these the Sunday chats is I've been posting the series, this organizing for beginners, and I thought it would be a great opportunity because just as content creators, there's a level of organizing skills that are required just to kind of maintain your channel and to have your to have engagement with the people who are watching your channels. So hey, Redneck to Vegan. And so I really do hope to have some of you sharing the ways that you have, organized people around you. A lot of this is, again, in response to the election of Donald Trump and people feeling like there's real work that needs to be done. And so, having conversations with you all about work that you're doing, that's all fun. Obviously, happy to talk about, any current events, especially the ones that I'm up on. I tend to be very bad about current events. You guys, I have a confession to make. I am terrible at following the news. I am terrible at following the news. I tend not to get my news, directly from a news source. Like I don't follow the Times like I should. I don't check in on Democracy Now! Every day. In fact, I have another YouTuber who is also kind of in the same boat as me. We've agreed that we're going to get much better at really just staying up on current events to be able to, bring that into our channels. I tend to kind of follow like what's happening in terms of movement. Like, so if there's movement building around a particular issue, I will follow that issue very closely, but like completely lose touch with other things that are going on. So Anonymous for the Voiceless. Okay, I hope we're going to hear a little bit about that. Redneck to Vegan says, I'm seriously thinking of starting a chapter of Anonymous for the Voiceless here in Tallahassee. And if I'm correct, that is those are the folks that go out with the anonymous masks on their faces, and they will show, carry, laptops or, touchpads, touch screens, whatever, what have you, and show video of what's happening in animal slaughterhouses. I believe that's so, and I've watched a few videos showing, people responding to that. It's really, I'm really torn about it at this point. As someone who's done, I've done most of the work that I've done as an organizer in communities of color, and mostly responding to issues that come up in those communities, mostly about unfair access or things like community policing. So my hope is that, hey, Red Skywalker, my hope is that folks will be able to share experiences like that. I also, you guys, Stephen Biko, it's Stephen Biko's 70th birthday. Stephen Biko would be 70 today, and it's so odd for me to think. I think of 70 as relatively young. You've maybe just retired. You're like 5 years into retirement, and that's when we imagine that people are really just getting a chance to like enjoy their lives, enjoy the kind of communities that they've built, whatever life it is that they've built. Now it's time to kind of just kick back a little and enjoy it. And so just to think that Stephen Biko, might be, what might Stephen Biko be doing today? For those of you who don't know, Stephen Biko was an anti-apartheid activist in South Africa, who died in police custody. He died in police custody. Yes, thank you, Nick, for including a link to Stephen Biko, Wikipedia for Stephen Biko. And then, whatever else is interesting to people. Whatever else is interesting to people. I will give you guys an update on the whole, so I monetized a lot of things on my channel, and there's been no difference. I don't know. So we'll see. I don't know. I haven't really noticed a difference. It could just be that my content is just not that engaging. Let's face the facts. Come on. I can't hate, as many things as I would want to blame for the fact that my channel's not growing that fast. It could be just that I don't have that engaging content. So whatever, it's what it is. And of course, Vegan Sister, you popped in right at the moment that you always come in when I'm saying some mess. You always catch me. Always catch me saying some mess. Anyway, I was about to tell you guys what I'm drinking right now. So Kearney helped, with the planting of the garden upstairs, which I'm going to show you guys, I promise, someday. But I harvested all of my dandelion greens this morning, which was not that much. I really only had 2 plants, but they were getting pretty big. And so I cut them back and took all the greens, and so that's what I'm drinking this morning. It's dandelion greens and some fresh squeezed orange juice. Not that fresh because it's what was left in the bottom of this bottle, but it was, when I purchased it, was fresh squeezed. Some fresh squeezed orange juice, some bananas, and an apple, a gala apple. Of course, noticing now that the cost of all of the fruits are going through the roof. All summer here in Michigan, apples were just everywhere. You could get apples everywhere, and they were inexpensive and they were local, but now, all that's over. Yeah, Mad Blender says, I monetized too. I don't know if it helped, Reg. I'm always Surprised you're not growing quicker. I find you very interesting. I don't, I think I'm doing it right. I think they scared of me up in this piece. That's right. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I think I'm too black. I'm just too black. I don't know what it is. I think I said, I don't know. I think I say things that scare people. I don't know. I'm not trying to be scary. I think of myself as an incredibly like loving person, raised on, good old Christian values. But like I drank the Kool-Aid. Like I'm like the Christian values that really is like you're supposed to love each other, as opposed to the Christian values that's like really let's just hate on people who aren't Christian. I don't know. I'm not saying that there are a lot of people like that, but there is a, there's a segment, tiny little segment. I'm gonna say a tiny little segment. There's a segment of haters who are, adherents to Christianity. In the same way, there's a segment of haters, say, in the police department, or say a segment of haters in the Black Lives Matter movement. There's haters everywhere you go. So you can't blame everybody for the haters, right? I think you're going to explode one of these days. You're awesome. You know what? We'll see. I don't even know if I've had the time. Suddenly, like, I don't, like, when I then have to choose between like the actual work that I do on the ground and, running a theater company and being a full-time YouTube content provider, I don't know. I would have to figure out a way to make all of these things. I would have to figure out a way to make all of these things work together. But you guys are making me feel like, first of all, my head's like this. Well, my head was already like that, but my head's even a little bit more like that. And I'm feeling very loved by all of you. So Lily says, you try to say things with a lot of patience and kindness. Maybe people are waiting for you to look more like a hater. Was that good? That was my hater face, y'all. Was it scared? Was it scary? Yeah, that was my hater face. It's so funny because of course you can't say to a vegan banana without having all kinds of stuff firing. Banana could be like shorthand for something. Your hater face, Vegan Sister says, your hater face looks like the face people make to babies to make them laugh. And of course, all my babies laughed. And all my babies laughed. So there you go. So come on, I hope we get into something this morning. There's again, there's so much to talk about. So just so you guys know, and this is going to likely affect the content, so I apologize in advance, but every year the theater company that I founded does a main stage show, and so this year, this spring, after last spring I did a show about basically disaster economics. It was called the Sandy Monologues, and it talked about the way resources come into and are extracted from communities after natural disasters. People who, if you followed what happened in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, you might know a little bit of what I'm talking about. But especially like in an urban center, you have this something happens to kind of destroy the infrastructure, like wipe away the infrastructure, and we see instances where when that infrastructure is being rebuilt, often it's you see people also being displaced. So you had communities that had failing infrastructures already. Suddenly now here's an opportunity for those communities to see their infrastructures replaced. But often what happens is those people get replaced right along with the infrastructure. And so we saw that happening where I lived in the community of Red Hook. And as we spoke about it, it was very clear that the discrepancies fell along racial lines. And so, here we were, in a community that considers itself a very close-knit community, but realizing that within that community, there are very different lived experiences. And because it fell along the lines of race. At least, you know, we had talkbacks with the audience after the show, and that's what I'm talking about. It's not simply that the way I observe it, the lines fell along, you know, things fell along racial lines, and black people felt one way and white people. But what was voiced in those talkbacks with people from the community was that there was difficulty talking about the way race played a part in all of that. And in fact, people who were friends of mine, you know, I had to rebuild some relationships because of the play, which to me, I'm like, we did it right. We must have done something right for people to be so moved by it and be so affected by it. And so this year, just to build some literacy around the conversation about race, we're presenting a piece specifically about race, specifically about the development of race in the United States and how it relates to, you know, economics, particularly slavery. And so, what about the deer in Manhattan? There was a deer in Manhattan. Is this something I should look up? Like an actual deer. I remember the cow that escaped from the slaughterhouse in Queens. There was a cow that escaped from a slaughterhouse and then ended up getting sent to an animal shelter. So that was a, you know, happy ending for that individual. But and people were so moved about that. But you know, again, who knows if people were able to make the connection, if they're rooting for that one cow who did escape from the slaughterhouse, and then they're going home and eating hamburgers. There's some cognitive dissonance. So a deer just appeared out of nowhere in a Harlem park. That's so interesting to me because I'm wondering where, I mean, I guess there are, I can't think of anywhere on the island of Manhattan where deer would be breeding. I can't think of it. You know, maybe in the park somewhere, but the park is, you know, pretty populated, you know, with people most of the time. So I can't imagine where a deer would. So Redneck to Vegan is telling me that there was a deer spotting in Manhattan. So so for all of you, that's something to check up on, a deer spotting in Manhattan. Lily is saying, am I the only one who has trouble with YouNow? I have bugs. No, I missed a whole day of I missed a whole day's live stream because of issues with YouNow. And I don't know, y'all. When I was thinking this morning, I really miss those Sunday mukbangs. I miss just turning on the camera and chilling out with some fruit and just having a conversation. And I'm not sure what to do about it because, you know, I don't know. So Periscope. So there's another, yeah. No, I'm not saying I'm going to quit streaming, but I do miss, because it was a different way of capturing thoughts, you know, being able to talk for 20 minutes about something and have it be free flowing and not feel the pressure of a you know, a script or anything like that. I really enjoy that, and I've gone back and looked at some of those videos and realized that, whoa, they were really capturing moments. And yes, Leslie, I could do that another day. I could totally do that another day. So yeah, and I don't know if I would be able to do a live stream and a mukbang every week, but that's just something that I'm thinking about. Yeah, I could do it. I could get up, I could do the mukbang and then sit here, do that, and then just, you know, do the live stream and recap. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So you're the only person I look forward to. Oh, that's cool. Thank you so much, Leslie. So yeah, so come on, you guys. We're 23 minutes into the hour, and I have not yet had anyone up to talk about, just offer some updates for what's happening in your part of the world. Lily, Lily, I seem to remember when I did the live stream on Tuesday that, yeah, yeah, Leslie's like, wasn't Lily supposed to guess? I think so, yes. I'm not, and vegan sister, you should know from getting called out, right? Yes, you heard your name, Lily, you heard your name. So, again, like I said, the fun of this for me is getting a chance to have you all on and just talk to you. It's like calling a relative, right? You get your friends on, and like you're talking to someone, you're checking in with them, finding out what's going on, um, knowing that everybody's, got their thing. So obviously, no need to be shy. Since it would be your first time, Lily, you're actually the expert in what we'd want to hear about, and that's just you talking about yourself. So again, obviously, no pressure. Anyway, oh no. So Reddit vegan giraffes were placed on the extinction watch list. Incredibly sad news. Incredibly sad news. Something that I will look out for. So again, and just again, so I started telling you guys that I'm working on a piece on race right now. So much resource, and I've known for a year that I can invite someone. Let me see. Oh look. All right. So I'm trying this inviting. I don't want anyone to feel any pressure, obviously. Does that work? But it's like you invite the person and then it's like they're right there. What if they're not ready? Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. So anyway, let's see what happens. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Let me see. Let me check in. You know what? Give me the okay. Give me the okay if I can do that. Let me see. I love this, being able to just invite people. That's a lot of pressure, though. I don't want to put that pressure on anyone. I won't do that. So yeah, so I'm going to be working on this piece about race, and have been doing a lot of research, doing a lot of reading about the development of. Oh, so Lily, I was trying to invite you, and then I realized that I didn't want to put that kind of pressure on you. So, oh, you did? Okay, so now I'm going to do it again. Although, it's YouNow, y'all, so. Oh, wait, here we go. Ah, so
Bonjour!
everyone, this is Lily
Hi there.
of Lily Ka's Vegan Garden. How are you?
You.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And you're really bright in my headphones, so I don't think it's a sound problem. But yes, so this is your first time guesting up here, so why don't you just say hello? Oh my goodness, you're reminded. The first person to ever guest, I think, was Leslie, who's was Mad Blender, and it, just the same thing. She was just so bright and giddy and full of love, and so I don't know if it's the effect that I have on people, but what a great way to first see your smiling, bright, glowing face. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you, Lily? Where are you?
Oh, okay. Right now I'm in Champigny-sur-Marne. It's in the region of Paris.
Okay, so you're in Paris.
And yeah, I'm in Paris.
And how's the weather there?
It's cold a little bit
Uh-huh.
because it's 6 o'clock right now in France, so it's the night already.
Oh, it's 6 in the evening. Oh, yes, of
Yeah,
course, of course.
5:30. Sorry.
5:30. I think I knew that
Mm.
because when Marine uh, was on a few weeks ago, we had a big mix-up, and I thought that it was 5 in the morning, and so I was like, "Oh, what's gonna be like having her on at 5 in the morning?" But it's 5 in the evening, so you've basically had your day. What was your day today? What did you do?
I stay home and I try to, how to say that, to make another video
Oh, so
for,
you're
I will release it tomorrow, yeah, about organic food.
okay. And are you still making videos in French and in English, or are most of them in French still?
Now all my videos are in French and I have English subtitles.
Okay, cool. Cool. So if I'm ready to work on my French as we talked about before, I should start watching your videos regularly. Yeah.
Yes, you should.
Yeah. So maybe I would love to hear from your perspective. So we were having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and of course now I'm diving into this project about race and about how um, race does or does not still impact people in their lives. And I think that there are a lot of folks who would tell you that we live in a post-racial society where people don't even see color. And so I
Yeah,
just,
sure.
what are your thoughts about that? Are you having an experience in Paris where the world is colorblind and no one sees color? Do you get to walk down the street and just feel like you blend in with everybody else?
Yeah, how can I say that? It was in the video about the blackface. As I said last time, a lot of people thought that we were racist because we were saying that, oh, you are doing blackface. So they were just like, no, it's not a problem. I mean, there is no problem in painting ourselves in black. It's just because we want to represent a particular persona. I heard someone tell me just like, if I want to dress up like Obama, I need to paint my face in black. Otherwise, people will think that I'm dressed up in Bush. And I was just like, what? What? So to them, if they are representing a black persona, they have to paint themselves in black for people to be sure they are black. But this is not racism. Just like, you are in your persona. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think it's quite
As if,
strange to me. I
yeah,
don't know.
as if like the dominant trait that person has, or as if the person's defining feature is the color of their skin.
I talked with a friend
Hmm.
who told me that I did that on day. He was doing, I don't know, it was gospel, how do you say that? Show? Yeah, gospel show with some friend of him. And they were all painting their face in black. And when I told him it was kind of rude, he told me, okay, so we did not know. To us, it was just like fun. But right now, we know that it's not really nice, so we won't do that. But for the majority of people, it's just like, I don't see where the problem is. I mean, it's just a color. So why are you making a fuss about that? And this is a kind of awkward. And I called some friends of mine. So there are two writing in French. So we have Dominique and we have Carly Bryce. They are French. And I wanted them to be able to talk with me to some subject. In France, yesterday we had the Miss France event.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard about that.
Is it
And
like Miss Universe? Is it basically a beauty contest? Is it that kind of thing? Okay.
yeah, it's a beauty pageant. And before going to Miss Universe, you have to be the Miss in your own country. Then you go to Miss Universe, Miss World, and things like that. So you start in
Okay.
your country first.
Okay.
And like Miss America, like Carly
Yes.
says. So Carly sent me some shots. Actually, Miss was elected yesterday. Is say black, but to me, I would say she's mixed because she's really light skinned actually, but she has natural hair. And someone says, so, where is, oh, she looked like Martin Braithwaite. I don't know if you know who the guy is.
She looked like who?
Martin Braithwaite, like this.
I don't think I know who that is. I don't think I know who it is. But I want to know now.
Where is the picture? Tuck, tuck, tuck. Yeah, Braithwaite. Up. I wrote his name.
Okay.
So you can have a look on the internet. So
I'm gonna look. And so
that's what that's
your friend.
That's what
who's fair skinned, but has natural hair. Okay. Is it a soccer player?
It's the Miss France. It's a soccer player. Yeah. So the actual Miss France, who was elected yesterday, has natural hair and she's light skinned. Actually, I don't know exactly her name. And people were commenting on her look. So that guy says that she looks like this guy. Her hair was like this guy.
Yes.
And there were another argument about her hair too. Someone says choucroute. Do you know what the choucroute is?
No, tell me.
It's a French dish with cabbage. You know, the cabbage that are a bit frizzy. So it was just like choucroute. And someone asked him what the problem, and he replied, "It's not like she's ugly, but I don't like choucroute. It's not my kind." And to them, it's normal to talk like this. I'm just like, what?
So to be able just to boil someone down to their parts. Just boiling someone down as if the fact that something about them does not look like, the European, some European standard. It really is. It's interesting to me. And we talk about these as microaggressions, right? These things that people say that in and of themselves aren't horrendous, but you can imagine if you've heard that your entire life, someone boiling down like some aspect of it. I did a really interesting experiment, and something that I don't know I might use in the play, but I was just thinking, like, if I walked up to, I don't want to use anyone in the room as an example, but if I walked up to a white person, and I'm going to say I want to imagine a white man, but if I walked into a white man and said, "Your hair, I love the way your hair just lays against your scalp. Do you have to do anything like special to get it to lie down like that?" Or if I just walked up to a white person and said, "I love your complexion. Your complexion is just so interesting. It really is beautiful. Do you do anything to make your skin look like that?" Or talking about people's eye. I love your eyes are just so round and fair colored. That's so interesting. Does it hurt your eyes to have them be that? You know what I mean? And these are silly things, right? That I could say it to someone one time, and they would think I was strange, perhaps, or not. Maybe it's. I would love to hear from someone who passes as white, or someone who's identifies themselves as white. Like what? Come on, tell me.
We had in France a hashtag which was called "When Blacks Talk Like Whites," and we were stereotyping a lot of things they said. Just like with food, we often have food with taste. We're just like, this is. I don't really remember what they said, but it was just like, as you do. It was really a hashtag. Every sentence they make, so we used them with, white stereotypes. And some people didn't find that quite funny, but for us, it was just like. And regarding the hairstyle, in some companies in France, it's forbidden to have your natural hair. Just like my hairstyle like this. In some words, it won't be. It's not a hairstyle. It's not common. It's a problem.
It's not professional.
That's the word. It's not professional.
Yeah, which becomes another code. Which becomes another code word. I wonder if people have seen. There's a film I think it's called Amendment 13. And the reason I'm having trouble with titles is because I have most of everything set into Spanish so that I have an opportunity to practice my Spanish. And I believe the film is Amendment 13 and has to do with the coding of language. So when we stop talking about, we can't say racist things openly. We can't say those things openly. And so we start to develop code words. So not professional becomes a code word for what? Ethnic, right? Something that's not ethnically or culturally white, right? If it's not culturally this mainstream, it becomes unprofessional, although, it could be someone's religious, garb. If a priest walked into a room, we wouldn't say that the priest was dressed unprofessionally. If a nun walked into a room, we would not say that the nun was dressed unprofessionally, right? Because we live in a society where, Christianity and people who are,
It's normal.
part of the clergy are just accepted in our society, receive the utmost expense. But let someone walk in with the clothing of the sort of the faith leaders of a non-Christian group and see what happens. See how
Just come with bills. Just come with beer. Sometimes it's just like jokes. But I have some bunch of friends, some guys. Sometimes they grow their beard because they like it, and you would always have someone to say, "Pay attention! Someone is going to call you a terrorist. Pay attention!" You will every time have someone to say that every time.
Right.
So if you are a guy, you can't have long hair. You can't have a beard or thing like that. It's really troublesome for some people. You will be called a terrorist. Sure, you will be called a terrorist in France.
Dominic says they will be called a terrorist. I want to look and see if we have anything in the comments that we should speak to. So we have people reacting to Martin Braithwaite. Vegan Sister says, "Whoa, that is crazy." So there's Carly has included a link for us to follow a little bit of the, so I guess what's being said about that.
Yeah.
I love it. We have a lot. Suddenly we have a lot of I think we have. Do we have a lot of folks from France in suddenly in the chat? I'd love to know because suddenly it looks like we have a handful, which is amazing. So yeah. So also somebody talked about Vegan Sister talked about Black Pete. I don't know if Black Pete is something that's known in France. That's but it's in Belgium.
What
it's
is
in
it?
other. Black Pete is kind of like Santa's elf, except like traditionally it would be a person appearing in blackface.
Okay.
So he's this like character. I guess maybe he's mischievous, but I don't know enough about Black Pete to go into details. But somebody had just brought up Black Pete, and I wondered if they were in Holland. Somebody said it's in Holland also.
In Holland, yeah. Vatspark or something like that. I don't really remember his name. I have a friend from Netherlands who told me that they have it's kind of comment on appelle ça? Le foutard. Do you know how is it in English? In tradition, you've got Saint Nicolas. The father Saint Nicolas, and you have, if you were nice, you can have candies, presents, and things like that. And if you were bad, le père fouettoir would come and would punish you in a certain way. And in Saint Nicolas, yeah,
yes,
and
yes,
yeah,
yes.
and in Netherlands, le père fouettoir is a black guy, a black dude. So they say that he came to.
How?
But normally, apparently, he should be white, but he wear to une cheminée. I don't know, in houses, you've got this thing with a lot of fire. I don't know if it's cheminée. I don't know the English name for it. Yeah, and because he went to that, he became dark, so he's portrayed as black.
For going
So
through
they say like this.
for coming through the chimney. Interesting. So I see, okay, so there's lots of links being included. Now I'm going to copy all of these. So one is Pete
Le père fouettard.
Futta. I'm opening that in the new. So I'm guessing there's going to be like, I see. Okay. So this is,
It's in
okay.
French, but normally you should find a translation in English
I'm not,
one.
I'm not afraid of a little French. I'll go through, I'll look at that. Um, so,
La, la, la.
so the chimney gives afros. So
Oh,
going through the chimney gives an afro. That's what, someone, that's what Dominique said. So chimney gives afros. Um, Sorry, no, I'm not
here
worried
is the
about
link
you.
in
So,
English.
wow.
Here is the link in English for the perfecta.
So that's, wow, Lily. So you've brought a lot of great information for us to follow up on and for, just to, get a different perspective on the way, how life in our post-racial society, how things, the experiences that people who, don't identify as white are having in this post-racial society. And it sounds to me like, regardless of the fact that people are colorblind, they certainly, a lot is certainly being seen and commented upon that has to do specifically with race. So,
Yeah.
is there anything, any last words before we jump off? We still have about 15 minutes in the hour. We can see if we have anybody else that wants to jump on, and I will be calling on folks. But do you have anything else to share with us today, Lily?
Yeah, just a last topic about Roca Diallo. It's a French girl. She's feminist. And yesterday she talked in a show in a French channel with, I think there were four or five people.
Okay.
My friend gave, and it was talking about feminism in France. And she was the only black on stage. There were another woman and I think 3 or 4 other dudes, and they were talking about feminism. So first she was joking, Roca Diallo, she was just joking, and she said, okay, so this is really interesting to show that we are talking about feminism, but we have a majority of men, and she was just bashed out. It was just like, oh, what are you talking about? Yeah, bad feminism and etc. And she had to say, hey, I was just joking. It's okay, I was just joking. And every time she was talking, she had people interrupting her. It was really condescending, things like that. At a certain point, she was saying, okay, so we have guys here who said they are feminists, but the problem is you have kind of oriented feminism. It's just like when you are talking about feminism, for you, it's just about the veils. But the veil is not the most important things. For example, we have sexual aggression, thing like that. We have to check on the law. And when she said that, she was interrupted by the woman who said that, that yeah, but veil is really important. Every woman shouldn't wear veils because of blah, blah, blah. And she said, okay, it's not like I'm for or against. It's just like, because to me, every single woman should have the right to wear or not to wear the veil. And she was just bashed out because for them, there is the woman, the basic woman who should look like, and if she wear the veils, it's just like, it can't be because she wants to wear it. It's because she is forced to wear it. So they were really close-minded. And she was kind of insulted by one of the guys who was there because he was really condescending. And she said, okay, you said that you are feminist, but every time we are calling you in events, you don't come. So please come. And first he said, yeah, I will come. And then when she said, okay, every woman should have the right to wear or not to wear veils, he just says, yeah, but I'm not coming when you say a bunch of crap. This is just crap. And during all the interview, it was just little shots of 8 minutes. She was bashed out every time. Every time she wanted to talk, she has someone to silence her. And it was really frustrating. And when I saw the comments, I was so annoyed. Because if it was people from minorities, they were just like, yeah, go Roca, you are so nice and blah blah blah. And when it was not minority were just like, yeah, you are victimizing again. Yeah, she was rude. Yeah, and we're just like, and someone, I'm still waiting for his answer, was just like, you are every time bashing France. It's every time bad in France, but you know that in sub-Saharan country, it's like they can't go out, they can't do things like that. And we had people from Morocco who said, this is a lie. Every woman can talk, every woman can have rights, even if they wear veils, they can do whatever they want. And I said to that guy who was just like, yeah, but in other countries it's worse. I was just like, okay, so I am actually living in France, and I'm telling you, in France we have trouble, and you tell me that abroad it's worse.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you telling me that? I'm just like, yeah, but what does it mean? Does it mean that because in another country it's worse, I have to shut up? What with that? And the majority of friends are like this, and I just can't understand why.
Yeah, I think
I can't.
I mean, it's interesting, and thank you for bringing up that point, because I think this happens on a large scale. If I've found numbers, and I need to really pull together some numbers that I can trust. But when they're, they do surveys talking about people's experiences of racism, and it tends to be, people who are non-white. It tends to be in the 80s, 90s, people at least agreeing that we still have race issues around race. And high numbers in the 70s saying that it's a serious problem. But then when you start looking at people who identify or can be identified as white, those numbers go way down. And so it just seems to me that there is a subtle racism in not accepting the lived experiences of other people. If 80% of people from a group are having the same experience, to say that that experience is, an exaggeration, is to say that you don't believe that group of people is either honest or capable of speaking to their own experiences. You're saying that there's something of inferior about the individual's mind. It is inferior in that it cannot express, it cannot articulate its own experience. And when it's a white person telling a group of black people that their experience is not valid, to me it smacks a little bit of, and I know better. Why? Why is it that you feel you know better? And I would love to have more people articulate for me what it is about their minds and their experiences that they feel is superior to the experiences of a majority of people of color. Go ahead.
To me, it's because we were raised in that kind of mindset, just like it's every time the same people who have the right things, who know what is right to wrong, and they are the one who are giving points, and they were raised like that. I mean, even when I was a kid, to me, I had that mindset that, blacks are bad and whites are good, and I have to be a kind of white if I want to succeed, those kind of things. So we were all raised like this, so we have to, to relearn things and to understand that, hey, we grown up all together, we went to the same school, we had the same diploma. There is no reason for you to be better than me just because you're white. I mean, but a lot of people are, they are used to it, so they don't have to question it. It's just like 2 out of 3 people I talk about racism. I mean, basic racism, not just like, oh, I hate blacks, but just people who talks about black, just like, oh, I love your hairstyle, do you that by yourself, oh, blah, 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 thing like that. If I say, this is problematic, you talking this way, I don't really like it, I really don't like it, they will consider me as a victim. For example, this is really silly. It happened with a friend. We were talking about basic racism, and I said, I particularly really dislike when I have a white friend who try to do the African accent. Please stop that. Just like sometimes when I'm talking, I have the accent because I want to make fun and things like that, but please, you can't do that. And she said, yes. And she started to do the accent during all day long. So for 30 seconds, I'm just like, okay. But for these events, I have other friends, and she was in minority. It were just all blacks for the major of them. And at a certain point, my sister told her, Amandine, please, can you stop doing that? This is really awkward. And she said, yeah, but I was joking with Joan. She knows the joke. So I was like, yeah. And she did that all day long. And I had all my friends just like,
wow.
I couldn't help.
And that was after you requesting that the friend stop doing it.
Yeah. She thought it was funny. Just like, it's ironic. I know that you don't like it, so I'm going to do it to show that. I don't know. I couldn't understand.
Right.
Honestly,
right.
I couldn't catch what happened.
Wow. That's interesting. And of course, many comments. People, excuse me, we never had. I'm sorry. So Reddick to Vegan saying white people are commenting so much that I can't even read it because it keeps popping in. White people like to think there isn't racism because they can avoid recognizing that they have advantages. If someone who has never experienced discrimination, I think if someone has never experienced discrimination, they think it doesn't exist. Carly, thank you for becoming a fan. Redneck to Vegan says white people never like to admit they have advantages. They are blinded by the white. Blinded by the white.
True.
Blinded by the white. I hear that. There's an expression, blinded by the light, in English, and I think he's a little play on that. It was because France was also starting to be threatened by Daesh.
Daesh. It's a terrorist organization.
Okay. And then, though some white people have experiences, I'm going to just copy that and look that up. It says that some white people have experienced discrimination in their lifetime and have a small insight. So having experienced discrimination might actually be, they might actually have to add that as a college course that people spend some time being, experiencing discrimination. Vegan Sister saying Iggy Azalea does a Jamaican accent in one of her new songs, and I just could not.
God. So, talking about terrorism, Carly Bryce told me that when we are talking about the Black Lives Matter movement in France, they are using the word terrorists. I don't watch the news, so I did not know, but they do that.
Talk about Black Lives Matter. They're using terrorists to talk about them. Yeah, this is one of the reasons that why I brought up that film Amendment 13. Let me look it up and make sure that I have the right title.
Amendment.
It's a documentary film. It's interesting. In English, it's called 13th. I'm putting. Oh no, hold on. I'm putting a link to it. I hope that people will have an opportunity to check the film out. It's on Netflix right now. It is in English. The reason why I bring the film up is because I think it's important for us to understand that a lot of the language that we use now in the United States to talk about race is deracialized. And it was, and part of that was because after slavery, when, we had all of these, suddenly free Africans walking around, particularly in the South, that was uncomfortable for people. And obviously, the 13th Amendment made it illegal for someone to be a slave, except if they've been convicted of a crime. And so now, all you need do to continue slavery in the United States, and this happened in the late 1800s, is arrest them. So then you got convict leasing programs. So you went from being a slave on the plantation to being a slave on the chain gang. And you're working for free. And this happened, this was a practice in the United States well into the 1900s, well into the 20th century. And then we get to 1967 and we have a Civil Rights Act that says you cannot treat black people this way. You can't treat people, you can't discriminate against people based on race. And so at that point, all of racism, all of the sort of racist attitudes became codified in the American Penal Code, in the criminal justice system. And so no longer do we have a class system based on race. We have a class system based on the criminalization of people of color. And so what do people find out? Whatever it is that they're doing, make that the crime. Make it a crime. After slavery, it was a crime to be walking down the street without a contract saying that you worked for a white person. That was a crime. And so now that we're in, now that it's 2017, we're here. 2017, we're here. We have, in the United States at least, we have, with 5% of the world's population, 25% of the world's incarcerated people. 5% of the world's population. We own a quarter of, we have a quarter of the world's incarcerated people, and most of them are brown.
That's sad. That's quite sad.
Will never be able to vote. Will never be able to get, they'll never be able to get food stamps. So maintaining a permanent lower class, now instead of having it based on race, it's based on your status as a criminal. But we have found ways to criminalize, and the film goes into great detail to explain how that process worked, what it looks like now. A lot of my favorite people appear in the film. So I hope that people will have an opportunity to watch that, and maybe we'll talk about that a little more next week. Lily,
yeah,
I want to thank you for joining us. We have reached the hour, and you have certainly brightened up this live stream with your presence. I'm so glad that you decided to jump on and join us.
Me too.
I'm going to say goodbye to you until next time, and then
sure.
And then so thank you so much, Lily Kaz Vegan Garden. Do check out Lily's channel. A lot of the content is in French, but it is subtitled for at least for English speakers. So definitely do check out that channel. I hope that you guys have an opportunity to check out 13th before we are back together again, so we can maybe have a discussion about that. There we are. I did okay with my smoothie. It was full. I did okay with it, but I still got a little bit to drink. But I want to thank all of you. Yes, thank you, Mad Blender. It was a fun talk with you all today. Learned a lot. For those of you watching on YouTube, please like this video if you liked it, share it, comment, and subscribe.
This is Reg signing off.
Love yourself. Peace.